You know what? Josh, we're going to talk about the whole 5 Minutes at Freddy's lore. We're going to do it. Okay, so first of all, I think it starts like... No, I'm not going to be precise with the dates, but... So, 5 Nights at Freddy's lore starts with this man. His name is called... No, we're going to leave out Secret of the Mimic. We're not going to count the mimics, so... 5 Nights at Freddy's starts with a man called William Afton and Henry Emily. They make some animatronics, some spring animatronics, which can function as animatronics and robots, or animatronics and suits for people to wear. And basically, they make a restaurant called Fazbear's Family Diner. Now, William Afton, the co-owner, he manages like the business, while Henry he does the designs and stuff. So everything's going fine, but this is my headcanon. Probably all of this will be headcanon, but William Afton doesn't pay much attention to his older son, who is called the Crying Child. And he doesn't pay attention to his son, Michael Afton, who is his son, and basically he starts to pick on his younger brother, who is called the Crying Child. He might have a name, but I don't remember really, so he starts to pick on his little brother, the Crying Child, and he gets all sad and cries all the time. But anyways, one day on the Crying Child's birthday, his brother thought it was a good idea, him and his friends, to put him in Fredbear's mouth. And then Fredbear chomps on him, and his skull gets crushed. And yeah, that makes William Afton very, very sad. And my headcanon is that he gets drunk, then he kills his partner, Henry Emily's daughter, Charlie, and he kills her. Then this animatronic, it's called the puppet, it goes out there because it was designed by Henry to protect her. It goes out in the rain, and then it finds her dead. I'm assuming that that's why William Afton kills Charlie's, because he gets jealous that, first of all, I think he's drunk and he's driving, so he's not thinking the best, and he wants to inflict pain on Henry, because Henry made the animatronics, so he could blame the Fredbear incident on him. So he wants to inflict pain on him, and he also doesn't want to be the only one that's hurting. And as I said earlier, he was probably drunk, so because the Midnight Motorist mid-game. So yeah, that's Charlie's dead. The puppet possesses her because FNAF. And then William Afton, later on, in 1985, or sorry, I would say 1983, I think, yes, or whatever, so it was the bite of 83, not 87, and we know that because the date's in the FNAF 4 game, so I then get to, like, this is my headcanon, is that that sister location takes place after FNAF 4, because I like to think of William Afton as a good person, not a murderer before the incident. So after he kills Charlie, he designs the Fun Times, and the reason he does this is because they're designed to capture and they can lure children and store them in their chest cavities so that William Afton can kill them, or take them out or something, or kill them somehow with an animatronic or whatever, so to harvest Remnant. Now, Remnant, it's like kind of like a soul material. It's like bound to... It's sort of like bound to metals and stuff, so he uses the Fun Times to get Remnant, because Remnant has regenerative properties, which he believes can save his son, the Crying Child. But the Crying Child, I believe that he dies anyway. So fast forward some years, William Afton kind of like being careful, kind of like hiding. So in 1985, he kills 5 more children. And this is all a bunch of headcanon, by the way, so he kills 5 more children. We know this because I think the books can help us, and something else probably, so he thinks it's a good idea to hide the bodies inside of the animatronics, so the animatronics are Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and there's also this one called Golden Freddy, which I am led to believe is Fredbear. So, he stuffs them in there because he wanted to hide the bodies and he wanted the remnant or whatever, so I believe that he just figured that he could hide them there, and he figured that Fazbear Entertainment wouldn't tell the police because they wouldn't. Fazbear Entertainment owns the restaurant called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, so I believe that he hid them there because he knew that Fazbear Entertainment wouldn't tell the authorities because they didn't want their restaurant to get shut down because it's making a lot of money and stuff, so he was right because Fazbear Entertainment does find the bodies, and I believe in between the events of Fredbear's Family Diner, or between 83 and 80, between 1985 and 1987, they hide the bodies. I don't know. We don't ever know what happened to them, really. They just got disposed of, probably thrown away. The animatronics, they got cleaned and stuff, deep cleaned, because it said that they had like a foul smell and stuff, so they're eventually, Fredbear's Family Diner goes out of business or whatever, or it didn't work. Oh yeah, Fredbear. Oh, I'm sorry. Fredbear's closes after the bite of 83. Then Freddy Fazbear's Pizza opens. Then it gets closed down because of their murders. Then in 1987 they open a new one, a new Freddy's Pizza or whatever they call it. They salvage the old original 5 animatronics or whatever, and they also bring back the puppet. And I believe that oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you that once William Afton stuffs the bodies in the animatronics, the bodies are then either, I don't know when it happens, but the puppet gives them life, so they possess the animatronics. I don't know if that's either before they're scrapped or after they're scrapped, or after the bodies are. I know that they're obviously scrapped after the bodies are taken out, because it'd make a lot of sense. But so I think that they were possessed after the bodies were taken out. I don't know why, but it just seems to. It doesn't really matter. I just actually no. I'll say that the puppet gave them life before the bodies were taken out of the animatronics because it would make more sense. Like the bodies are still in there, so they'd have a deeper connection to the suit or whatever. I don't know exactly, but anyways, they possess them. Then they get scrapped. So I think they get possessed before they're scrapped because the bodies would still be there, and I don't think that they would scrap the animatronic with the body still in it. They'd probably want to clean it out and then scrap it because they wouldn't want blood and all that. So I'm gonna say puppet gives them life, then the bodies are removed and cleaned, then they're scrapped. It doesn't really matter regardless, but that's my headcanon. Then in FNAF 2, they are given some facial recognition to spot out criminals because they don't want another murder to happen, because that's bad. They don't want a murder to happen, obviously. Why would they want a murder to happen? So the Wizards and the new toy animatronics get facial recognition. It doesn't work on Foxy for some reason, and they also bring the puppet back. So yeah. Then let's see here. Gotta get my train of thought. So there is the bite of 87, which I believe happened before the second missing children incident, where we don't know who it is, but it's probably Mangle because it makes the most sense. Mangle, or whoever, it doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna say it's Mangle, chomps the guard's skull. I think his name is Mike Schmidt or whatever, who got his skull chomped. So that's the bite of 87, which is different than the bite of 83. I think that happens before William Afton does the missing children's incident. I don't think it really matters all that much, to be honest. Actually, no, I think it happens after, because Phone Guy in FNAF 2, he says that somebody got in the golden rabbit suit, which is known as the spring body suit, and it's obviously William Afton because he uses that. Well, that's the suit that he used to lure the kids to the back room, by the way, when he killed the original 5 kids. So he used that to lure them because they thought it was like a mascot. You know, he's like going to help him or something. I don't know, give him cake or something, whatever. So he uses that to trick him. And then he does it again in FNAF 2, which takes place in 1987. So I believe that this actually happens before the bite of 87 because Phone Guy says, no, none of them are acting right. So he kills, I believe it's 5 more kids. No, it's 4 more kids. I do not know if the toy animatronics are possessed, though. I cannot say that for certain. Actually, it's 5, I think, yeah. I do not know. There's not really all that much proof going on to say that they're possessed, but maybe they are, maybe they are. I don't know if it matters that much, but anyways, the building closes because there's another murder. And Mike Schmidt also gets his head chomped, so yeah. Now, later on, they're probably near bankruptcy, so in 1993, they opened the new Freddy's Pizza. They scrap the toy animatronics, and they bring back to life the old ones. They repair them. The withers, they repair them, because they just do. I don't know. And we know that FNAF 1 takes place after FNAF 2 because FNAF 3 takes place 30 years after. FNAF 3 takes place 30 years after FNAF 1, and FNAF 3 takes place in 2023. So we can do some deduction and figure that out. What is your name, brother? I film stuff. XD. And so we know that FNAF 2 is after FNAF, or no, sorry, we know that FNAF 1 is after FNAF 2, also because the toys, they're not there. Like, why would they get rid of the toys or something? And it just doesn't make sense why they do that. So yeah, if the toys were newer, why would they get rid of the old? Why, if the toys were newer, why would they get rid of them? It's simple that sorry, what the heck am I talking about? Let me get some proof. Why do we know? Sorry, I'm gonna look something up. I kind of lost my train of thought. Yeah, the bite of 87 is freaking terrifying, Josh. It is freaking terrifying. It is scary. Oh yeah, we know FNAF 1 is after FNAF 2 because Phone Guy mentions the bite of 87. So, yeah, he doesn't mention that in FNAF 2, so he says, and then there was the bite of 87, so that's how we know that FNAF 1 takes place after. Another reason is because the timeline, so yeah, and you know, he mentions it as a past event, Phone Guy, so that gives us proof that FNAF 1's after. And FNAF 1 also takes place in a smaller restaurant because, you know, FNAF 2 closed. And they're kind of like in bankruptcy, near bankruptcy, and yeah. And the withered animatronics are the same ones used in FNAF 1. you can tell that they're prepared. So yeah, and there's no sight of the FNAF 2 animatronics, because why would they get rid of the FNAF of the why would they get rid of the old toy animatronics if they were if it was after, like why would they do that? So yeah, they get rid of them because they don't want them, and because the FNAF 1 animatronics, well, people probably knew who they were, and it was a lot cheaper to. I bet it was cheaper to repair the Wizards than it was to bring back the toys. The toys got scrapped. We know that because FNAF 3 now. Blah blah blah. FNAF 1 after FNAF 2. If you don't believe me, you can argue, or you can just look it up for yourself and see some proof there. Now, FNAF 1, we got the guard, Michael Afton. Now, what happens is, you watch another horror thing I did. Did I gonna have nightmares? That's pretty bad, but now FNAF 1, they're doing pretty good. The restaurant's bustling and stuff now. Everything is fine until William Afton comes back, and he comes back to destroy the animatronics. I'm going to tell you why in a bit. So he destroys the animatronics with his bare hands. People may say he uses an axe, but my headcanon is that he does it with his bare hands because he's built different, and he's my favorite character. So Afton destroys the animatronics. Now he then melts them down. You may wonder, why does he melt the animatronics down? Well, it's because Remnant. He wanted his remnant for both himself and his son. So, Toy Tumor, dude, I've seen that. It's freaking weird. It's freaking weird, dude. That's terrible. So, William Afton melts down the FNAF 1 animatronics, turns them to like the remnant alloy, melts them down. So he gets the remnant. They're like an alloy now. So he injects them into the fun times with a scooper. We know that the scooper can do this because of FNAF 6, Henry's little voice line thing with the egg baby. So he injects them. That's my headcanon as he does it. And then, so now all the fun times are possessed. And also, I forgot to tell you, but his daughter, who is his favorite, her name is Elizabeth Afton. She gets killed by Circus Baby with the claw, and she possesses Circus Baby. Now, nobody else possesses Circus Baby except Elizabeth. So remember that. Probably will Josh, but I'll probably go till I'm done with the lore. So, after William Afton injects all the fun times besides Baby with Remnant, he then goes back to clean up the mess. There's probably a lot of mess that he made because he barehandedly destroyed them. So he then goes back where he finds the souls of the kids, and the original animatronics are back or something. They're angry, they want to kill him. So he doesn't know what to do, so he hides in the spring body animatronics. So he thinks that'll keep him safe. And I wouldn't blame him. I mean, I'd probably do the same thing, but the building, it's like, it's really old. There's like water and stuff, and it's not, the spring lock suit is really old, so the spring locks collapse. There's a spring lock failure, and he gets crushed by the spring locks. Now, some people say that he survived, but I like to think that he died, and then he came back because of his remnant. Because his remnant is what keeps him alive. The spring body animatronic is associated with a lot of remnant because it killed his kids and stuff. And so yeah, he comes back to life as Springtrap 30 years later in 2023, and he's freaking mad. He is freaking upset as heck. So before we get back to Springtrap, I would say that after he gets spring locked, or before he got spring locked, he told his son, Michael Afton, the one who's still not all screwed up, to go help Baby. And she goes down to sister location. He goes down to sister location, and this might. So he tells him. Then the events at sister location play out. He gets scooped, and they all form into Ennard. So remember, Ennard is the five original kids, plus Circus Baby. But Circus Baby is in control, and they eventually, Michael Afton spits them out because having an animatronic inside your body is kind of disgusting, and he can't handle it, so he just pukes it out. Then he has Remnant because Ennard was inside him, so he doesn't die. Now back to Springtrap. FNAF 3, Michael Afton comes after he just spat out Ennard. He's all like purple now, and William Afton is freaking aura farming. I freaking love Springtrap. I'd marry Springtrap, but he is in FNAF 3, and he got found by these people. He got found by these people who wanted to make a horror attraction, so he got taken out of the back room of FNAF 1, put into the FNAF 3 area, which is it's called Fazbear's Fright. It's like a horror attraction with all the old stuff, and he's there. His remnant revives him, and he finds that Michael Afton is working the night shift. So the building is not the best. There's freaking faulty wiring, faulty air. So Michael Afton has hallucinations. They may be caused by Springtrap. I'm not entirely sure, but he's hallucinating and stuff while he's trying to defend himself from his father, William Afton, who wants to kill him because he killed his son, so he wants to kill him now. And so he tries to kill him, but unfortunately he doesn't kill the little rat. So Michael Afton, barely alive, lights the place on fire with Springtrap in it, and Springtrap survives because he's goated. Now, I would like to. I think what happens is the fire weakens his suit, and he kind of has to find like a new suit. He's kind of like fragile, breaking apart. So he finds this new suit, and that's how we get to know Scraptrap. And an interesting thing about Scraptrap is that, well, he acts way different from Springtrap, who acts like an animal and stuff. Unlike Springtrap, the animal, Scraptrap acts more of. He acts sort of like William Afton's old self, basically identical. It kind of seems like William Afton even enjoys being Scraptrap instead of Springtrap. Like he tends to enjoy the power and stuff, because my headcanon is that the FNAF 3 fire melts all the wires and stuff out of his brain. All the spring locks get melted off, and Scraptrap, it's just a suit. He's like in his mind again. He's literally his old self, but stronger. He has a bone knife on his arm, so he's just his old self. Technically, he'd even be smarter than his old self because he knows about Remnant. He's faster, he's agile because the Remnant is more powerful. So it seems to even enjoy Scraptrap. Like I guess I would too. He's freaking immortal now, so he possesses Scraptrap, and he even has a heartbeat. He has muscle fibers, so he seems to even enjoy Scraptrap because of his regenerative properties, and he's like his old self. He's better than his old self. He's smarter than his old self because he knows about a lot more things. So we call him Scraptrap. Now we're gonna meet the other Scraps. The other Scraps are called Lefty, which was built by Henry to capture the puppet, his daughter, because you'll find out in a second. And the other of their two Scraps are called Molten Freddy. Now, and Molten and Scrap Baby. Now, Scrap Baby. You know how I said that Elizabeth was in control of Ennard? Well, she was, but they got tired of her, so they did a revolt. They revolted against her and spat her out, and so now it's run by Funtime Freddy. So basically, a better way to put this is that Molten Freddy is just the original 5 missing kids. That's how I like to put it. In Scrap Baby, she's just Baby, and she has a big admiration for her father, William Afton. I don't know if they ever meet each other. My headcanon is that they do, and they wouldn't kill Michael. That's my headcanon. Now, it's not confirmed whether they meet or talk, but I think they do. My headcanon is also that Scrap Trap repairs his daughter, Scrap Baby, because she is his favorite child, so yeah. He repairs her up, gives her rollerblades, gives her a nice big claw, and she wants to please him because she loves him, so kind of cool. And then they on Friday, it takes place on Friday of sometime in 2023, where Henry says that it's all a trap, then he lights the place on fire, and then they all die. All the souls get freed. Mike laughed and puppet all of them. The only thing is for Cassidy, who is Golden Freddy, if I forgot to tell you that, she won't let William Afton go to heaven, so they both spend eternity in hell, which is Ultimate Custom Night, where you play as Afton. But my headcanon is that he beats 50-20 mode so much that she gets mad and just lets him move on. So eventually he does move on, that's my headcanon, or he just stays in hell. Now the good thing is, because I love William Afton, is Cassidy also has to stay in hell, so yeah. So the two of them are either in hell or in heaven, so whatever. And now the lore is like 5 times as big, but I'm not gonna go into that because we could either talk about about the mimic and all that. But I don't hate modern FNAF, but it's too big to. You'd have to watch game theory. Now I've watched every single game theory video of FNAF. I think there's like, let me check how many there are. There's a lot. There's a frick lot. There is a total of, let me see if I can find it, 84 Five Nights at Freddy's, so I've watched all of them, so that's how I know about the lore. But if you wanted the complete lore, you'd have to watch every single one of them. So yeah, that's the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. And I'm probably going to end the stream here, so thank you guys for watching.